Welcome to. Sorry, we're connected. So we connected. Is it Cole? Can you hear me? Are we? Sorry, I think there's a temporary fault right now. We're going to put on some Luther Vandross to make you feel a bit better. What in the dial-up internet was that Brighton centre? Right? I feel as if I haven't got a proper grasp of what happened last night, Cole. I mean, back in your day, Cole, we wouldn't have had connection like that, would we? And I mean, they hadn't even discovered fire when you were playing darts, my friend.
Someone needed to pay the Wi-Fi bill, methinks. And funnily enough, Harry, we need to black the screen out because that went like that. Or go to an advert, go to an advert, go to an advert.
Here's what we have coming up on Sky Sports throughout March. Literally, I have never in all of my 28 years seen a buffer like that unless I've never gone on a dodgy stream in my entire life unless I've gone to a friend's house and they've got a dodgy stream. Should we start it all over again? Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this week's edition of talkBULL, coming to you every single Friday from now until the end of May. The 29th of May, in fact, will it be the 30th of May, off the back of the playoffs. Joining me, as always, two-time major champion and former world number one, Colin, Buffer, George. George? Where did I get George from? George. Seriously, since last night and seeing that coverage, my brain's just been malfunctioning the whole time. Like, I don't know if I imagined two 9 darters last night, but I tell you what, mate, if that happened on Super Sunday during, people will say, oh, it's only darts who aren't the fans and stuff like that, but social media was going mental last night. But I tell you one thing, Cole, if that happened during Super Sunday and it was Liverpool versus Man United, there would be riots. There would be riots outside of Anfield and the streets, all in the south of England, because that's where all the Liverpool and Man United fans are, aren't they?
Yeah, supposedly. Listen, it wasn't great for the quarters, but at least we managed to get in a certain 9-dart leg from Luke Humphries. The semi-finals and finals, it was all back to normal. Unfortunately, Harry, we got to stick up for just a little tad.
Yeah.
Live TV, mate. Live TV. There was a cable loose somewhere, possibly, or something had gone amiss. But the show has to go on. You've got the fans that have paid their tickets to go there. But unfortunately for us folk that were sat at home watching it on TV, it got very, 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 very frustrating.
Yeah.
But sure, listen, we got there in the end, Harry, didn't we? And, we were treated to some decent stuff eventually from what we saw anyway.
It looked like a case of just turn it off and turn it back on again. I mean, it probably wasn't even that overcomplicated. I don't know who it was at Sky Sports at Matchroom. We forgive you because we got 2 9-darters, and that really somewhat rescued the night. So you need to make mistakes to move forwards. That's what I always think. If you're going through hardships, you learn from it, and then you get great rewards in the future. And I feel like us as spectators, I mean, the fans in the Brighton Centre were loving life. They wouldn't have known what was going on. But the night of 9s, no buffer. There was buffer during Luke Humphries versus Rob Cross, but it seemed like when that 1-4-1 was about to happen and Luke Humphries was about to secure the 9-darter, it felt as if it was like, oh, it's going to go any second. It's going to go any second. I jumped up and celebrated because everyone knows, and you know, Cole, Luke Humphries is my favourite player, them being from Newbury. Then in the background, as I was jumping up and down in my living room, all I heard was just like, oh my God. Oh, no. I was there, like, oh, that just ruined the whole thing. It just ruined the whole thing. But
I think everyone held their breath, Harry, didn't they? Everyone held their breath because you saw the 2 180s and everyone all of a sudden just went...
Luther Vandross coming back on.
Yeah.
No. Never too much. The first 9. I mean, we had 2 9s last night, but the first 9 of the Premier League season, it just had to be on the night of buffers, didn't it, Carl?
Oh, mate, it was a shame, but at least it got caught, Harry.
Yeah.
Throughout that whole match, and it was a good match as well. But unfortunately, it kept buffering. Let's not forget, Rob Cross actually went on to win that match.
Yep.
6-4, 7-1 80s. Luke, it's probably the best but the worst thing that ever happened to him in that match. He hit the 9, and then all of a sudden he just couldn't find his way with stuff. And Luke Cross come back and beat him, but it didn't buffer for the 9. That's the main thing.
And you mentioned Rob Cross was there, obviously coming out on top, and Luke Humphries hitting the 9-darter and losing. Rob Cross went and hit a 9-darter against Nathan Aspinall too. Both get golden darts worth £30,000, 18-carat gold. We know that Luke Humphries has wanted to win that since the start of the Premier League. He spoke to the media and was like, I just want to get my hands on him. And he did it. Both recorded as well, their first televised 9-darters. So, like you were saying, as a spectator's point of view, for the buffering, especially Luke Humphries, it's good for both of them that their first 2 9-darters, the first 9-darters for them, was captured on television without buffer. So it isn't all gloom after all, is it?
No, it's not. And let's not forget, Harry, the very next match after Humphries and Cross, Nathan Aspinall went 760s in, missed the treble 19. So there was the potential for 3 9-darters last night. Listen, we're being greedy now, aren't we? We got one and we thought, it didn't buffer. And then we were treated to another one about an hour or so later.
My favourite,
which is absolutely brilliant.
My favourite bit of the comms last night when it was, I think it was straight after Luke Humphries hit the 9. It was like, "Are you not entertained?" And then it just went straight to buffer. You couldn't write it. But that's the end of that banter. These things happen. Sky Sports match room. It's not that deep. Cole, I want your expert analysis on this, and especially the amount of years that you spent on the Oki. Humphries and Cross both hit 9-darters and went on to lose. Obviously, there's a lot of talk of this on social media. It happened to Damon Heta in the world as well. Is there such thing as a 9-dart curse or not?
No, I don't think so. No, it's just the way it is. Happened to Terry Jenkins in the Worlds. Happened to Kyle Anderson in the Worlds. Listen, the only thing that softens the blow is, in this case, is a 30k solid gold dart. That will soften the blow. And the only other thing as well, it's only week 5.
Yeah,
it's only week 5. No damage done. Still a long way to go. No, there's no such thing as a curse, mate. Listen, we wouldn't even be entertaining that question, would we, if they'd have gone on and won them matches? So, nah, it's just like saying if a Premier League team goes 1-0 down. Is it a curse that they go 1-0 down?
Yeah.
Because when they go 1-0 down, they go on to lose the match. Well, if it happened in the second minute, they've still got another 88 minutes to get an equaliser.
Yeah, that's exactly true.
Just the way it is.
Yeah.
Just the way it is.
It's like the 99 Champions League final, isn't it? Bayern Munich go 1-0 up, and then Manchester United score 2 goals in stoppage time. What I was going to say to you was, obviously, they've won the Golden Darts, the 2 of them, worth £30,000, and that's 18-carat gold. But would you rather a situation like that 30 grand just drops into your bank account rather than getting the Golden Darts? I know Rob Cross was saying that he can't wait to put it up on the mantelpiece or put it in the trophy cabinet. Would you rather the being able to look at these Golden Darts in your house when you're grey and old, or just have that 30 grand in your bank account off the back of hitting a 9?
Well, in all fairness, Harry, I wouldn't have a 30 grand dart. I'd get the market value. It would be about 22 grand for what you get when you take it down to the pawn shop.
Cash converters.
No, listen, it's a great achievement, and listen, these guys are having a great career, and they're very fortunate in the fact that there is a lot of money to be earned in the world of darts. And it's an achievement. It's an achievement, and they're capable of keeping something that's worth 30,000 quid. Make sure you get it on the house insurance. I wouldn't put it on the mantelpiece. It would go in the safe.
Yeah.
But listen, they don't have to worry about them sort of things, Harry. Would you prefer the money? Possibly. I don't know. You'd have to talk to those guys. The sense of achievement of having a perfect 9-dart leg in the Premier League will be there forever.
Yeah.
So in some ways, you got to look at it. It's just like it's a material thing. It's a nice material thing.
It's a memento as well. It's a memento if you actually think about it, because like I mentioned, both of their first televised 9-darters, and it's like like I mentioned, when they're grey and old, they'll be able to show the grandkids and be like, not only did I get this, these golden darts, this was on the night that I got my first televised 9-darter as well. So it'll probably have a lot of sentimental value to it as well.
Oh, yeah, very much so. Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's something, like you say, you can show your kids, show the grandkids, hopefully. But at the end of the day, Harry, it is just a trophy. I don't mean it as nonchalant as the way I'm saying it.
Yeah, of course.
But it is just a trophy. I mean, best part of my trophies that I've won over the years, I've given away. I've got a couple. But listen, I'm not gonna take nothing away from those two guys. That's their first 9-darters on TV. Both fantastic players. Parade it off. Take it to a few exhibitions and whatever. But if it's worth 30,000 quid, Harry, you ain't going to leave it on the side, are you?
No.
And say, oh, look at that. Look at my 9-darter. And or when someone comes in and go, look at my, oh, love, have you put my £30,000 dart away? No, it's on the side. No, it's not.
All of a sudden, the missus turns out of a new car. Or she's melted it down and got her a new bracelet out of it or something like that. Listen, we are about 10 minutes in. 10 minutes in, and we've not even spoken about the winner of the night, Luke Littler, beating Nathan Aspinall 6-3. So some moments of madness from Luke, I thought, in the build-up to the final, especially that moment against MVG when he almost bust with a 180. He's closing in on Luke Humphreys. I think it's 2 points in it now. And I'm just getting the feeling, I know we've got plenty of nights before the O2, but I can just envisage the two absolute Western gunslingers at the O2 facing up against each other and putting on an almighty display. And I feel a bit sorry for Luke Littler, because even though he won the night, I don't think he's the biggest talking point off the back of Brighton.
No, you're probably right. But, 9-darters are special. And unfortunately for him, two guys hit him last night. There wasn't one, there was two. But you know what? Touching on Luke Littler, his performance against MVG was unbelievable. He played brilliant. Against Chris Dobie, he hung on in there. Dobie was playing well, got over the line with a 6-5. And then against MVG, it was a case of power scoring and finishing, Harry. 106 average, made it look ridiculous easy. And people say that Michael's not firing. When someone's pressurising you like that constantly, every time you play them, because they have respect for you, but you're just now a player in their way of what they want to achieve in life. And that's what Luke Littler does. And then in the final against Nathan, again, it was a case of just power scoring and finishing. That's not to say that Aspinall didn't have some opportunities and some chances gifted to him. But unfortunately for him, he didn't take them. And Luke Littler did, and he's come away with yet another win.
I mean, we mentioned MVG there as well. I mean, it was somewhat comfortable against Gerwyn Price in the opener. There's still some mistakes being made, especially on the checkouts. And like you mentioned, they're really put on the back foot against Luke Littler. He's just not locking in, is he, Cole? Like, it's just clear. You can just see the frustration on his face. And we're speaking about this every single week now. So many darts drifted, unable to level it at 3-3, 5 attempts to match Littler as well. He looked lost at the end of the game, and almost like, I mean, Michael's pale anyway, but he just looked expressionless, just like the life had been sucked out of him. It was bizarre. Only one win in his last 7 against Littler as well. 90.41 average. I don't think Michael will be very pleased with. I think that's the lowest average since he played Littler earlier on this year as well. Still yet to reach a final in the Premier League after 5 nights as well. I've said it to you a million times, but I think Littler is actually in his head.
Yeah, quite possibly. I think the demons, more importantly for Michael, that he's trying to battle with, Harry, is against Gezi Price. What we saw of it.
Yeah.
It was a case of Gezi was missing a few opportunities on his doubles, but Michael was looking quite solid. I think he ended up with about 100, 101 average, 102 average or whatever. And then to what was it, about an hour later? To fall 10, 11, 12 points short on the earlier night's performance. That's where Michael's struggling, I think. I think he's just getting to the point where he's going, I don't understand it. And that's why he's venting his frustrations. He's going like this towards the board because he's thinking, I played so well an hour ago. Why is it all of a sudden I'm not hitting it? And that's where the frustrations are kicking in. But I've said it before, Harry, that people forget Michael's been around a long time. He's been in wars. He's been in wars with Taylor, Hart, me in some ways, Peter Manley. And then the new blood starts coming through, the Dobies, the Gezi Prices, the Peter Wrights, the Rob Crosses, the people that are all up there now. You get battle scars, Harry, and it does take it out of you. And for you to have to keep digging in, it takes a lot out of you. But he is someone now who, how much has he got left?
We said 3 to 5 years, but there's a part of me that thinks that Michael's got the money in the bank. There's no worries about that. Part of me thinks that Michael, if it continues this year, he could walk away.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, Harry, that's the one thing that people do worry about. That Michael has been sensible with his money. He's got plenty. He has invested in the future. And how much does he want it? How much does he want to keep digging into those reserves, darting ability-wise I'm talking about now? How much does he want to keep digging into those reserves? Because what he used to fall back on, that reservoir seems to be empty now. And he's having to go down even lower now to the depths and start trying to drag something from the depths of nowhere. But then you see him another time, say at an exhibition, bang, 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 is him of old. Exhibitions and match play, Harry, 2 completely different things. No pressure. No pressure at exhibitions, just fun and laughter and enjoying your night with the crowd and whatever. When you go to the business of tournament play, match play, you have to be switched on. You have to be hitting it because these guys are too good these days.
Well, one thing I found interesting that you just said there, and it reminded me, Raymond van Barneveld was on talkSPORT Breakfast yesterday and spoke about the hectic schedule of going from the Premier League to the UK Open in Minehead. And then it would go into Belgium for the European Tour this weekend as well, off the back of just playing in Brighton as well. Then it'll be the Pro Tour again next week, which we don't know yet if a lot of these Premier League players will be in because it's a hectic schedule. And Barney almost mentioned that MVG might be tired. So do you think that MVG could actually be fatigued from...
Get over themselves. You wanted it, get on with it. You're a professional dart player. I hate these people that keep whinging and whining. Oh, the schedule's too tough. The schedule's too tough. You wanted to be a professional dart player. It's an invited thing to the Premier League. If you're going to find it tough to get from a Premier League event, Harry, to go to a Pro Tour event or a Euro Tour event, turn it down. So, no, the schedule's too busy. At the end of the day, the Premier League's a show. If you don't want to play in it, don't play in it. There's plenty of other players that do want to play in it. And can't get over these people that keep saying they're tired, they're tired, they're tired. You've found something that you're extremely good at. You're earning a massive living from it, a great living from it. There's plenty of other people, Harry, that are down in the rankings that still hold on to a job. and go to these Euro Tour events when they qualify for them.
I mean,
go to the Pro Tour events.
Robert Owen, who beat Michael van Gerwen, I think he's an Iceland delivery driver.
Yeah, out at the crack of dawn. He's loving it. He's loving life. You know, he would love to be able to say to Iceland's, as much as they painted up his van for him after he's running the Worlds, Robert Owen of Wales and whatever, playing in the World Championships, fantastic. But Robert Owen would love to go into his bosses and say, listen, I've got a huge opportunity now. I'm going to have to leave because my schedule's got so busy now. I'm earning more money than what I'm used to now. And my dream has always been to be a professional darts player. I can now realise that dream and go out there and have a crack at it. If it doesn't work, would it be possible that I could come back one day and possibly re-get my job?
Yeah.
And, you know, I don't understand these people that keep saying the schedule's hard. You know what the schedule is. You know what the schedule is at the start of the year. You know you're going to have to go up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down, across. Harry, it's just the way it is. Get on with it.
I mean, if you gave them the option as well, would you rather be touring with the darts, going to exhibitions, playing in Pro Tours, playing in the Euro Tour, or would you rather be on a building site or stacking shelves in Tesco? I mean...
Harry, the thing about it is, mate, I get ranty and ravey like this because I know what it's like to get up at 5:30 in the morning. I was world number one and I was the World Grand Prix champion. I was getting up at 5:30 in the morning to be picked up by my mate Andy to drive to Cambridgeshire from Colchester, hour and a half, hour and 40-minute drive, to get there, offer me trainers on with a pair of work boots and work in mud all day on a building site. Get home at like 6:30 at night, quick shower, quick change, off up to the local pub to go and have a practice with Rod Harrington, the former world number one and two-time major champion. You know, you just got on with it. That's what you had to do.
Is it a case of they don't know how good they've actually got it? Because obviously you speak about your story then. You know, I mean, like early days of Phil Taylor's career, he was still working in a factory. So... I mean,
yeah,
they've got more. They've got the prize money's better. They got arguably, even though you had great opportunities, they have more opportunity to go pro and not have their little like side hustles and whatnot because the prize money's only getting bigger. I mean, you got the Pro Tour as well at the same time, and I know that they'll still have side jobs as well. But like you were saying, you're world number one and you're still working in mud every single day. Whereas if you're world number one now, you ain't got to have a little side hustle here.
Harry, put it into this perspective. Today, yes, they've got to go to Belgium, yeah? They've got to go to... Unfortunately for them, they've got to go to Belgium this weekend to try and earn 30,000 quid for winning the event. Well, when I was playing in the Premier League, I would be heading off to Belgium and I'd be going there for the Antwerp Open to try and win €2,500.
Yeah.
Therein lies the difference because not only was I going there, all the other 7 players in the Premier League were going there, and all the other boys in the rankings were going there. So, listen, I'm not going to cut them any slack. It's just the way it is. Get on with it.
Yeah, I actually couldn't agree more with you. Listen,
I'll probably get some knockback for that, but
I don't think
care.
You will. I think anyone that's got something in between their skull will actually understand where you're coming from with that because it's a graft, and I think it's the same with footballers as well when they say that their schedule's busy and whatnot. Well, try and be someone that's working sort of 60 hours a week in a job that you'll never want to do and then try and motivate yourself to do other bits and pieces. Listen, Nathan Aspinall last night, one of the big talking points I thought was absolutely sensational in all 3 of the matches that he played. Quality display against Stephen Bunting, 106 average in that quarterfinal. Clutch darts against Rob Cross, coming from 4-2 down. Couldn't get over the line in the final despite the fierce look on his face as well. He looked like an absolute man on a mission. And, you know, before the Premier League, he was getting so much, I wouldn't say abuse, but he was getting so much chat from the critics and fans saying he didn't deserve to be there. I'm seeing, 2 finals that he's been in now in the Premier League. Last weekend, quarter-final of the UK Open, losing to Josh Rock in Minehead. I think he's putting 2 fingers up to the people that doubted him, Lloydie. What do you think of that?
Yeah, listen, the one thing about Nathan Aspinall, we know this about Nathan Aspinall. Everybody knows this about Nathan Aspinall. He's a grinder. He's a grafter. You have to put him to bed, because if you don't, he'll keep coming at you. And he's put in 2 fabulous weeks now of grafting performances where, yes, he's been down, but you know what? For him to stay down, you've got to hit the winning doubles. If you ain't hitting the winning doubles, he's coming back at you. So 2 fantastic performances from Nathan the past few weeks. Like you say, a UK Open, a great UK Open. It's all about confidence. His confidence is going up and up and up and up and up. And he knows how well he can play. And last night didn't happen for him in the final. But that's just the way it is. He was playing someone that's riding the crest of a wave at this moment in time and making the game look ridiculously easy. But, you know, if I was Nathan Aspinall, or if I was chatting with Nathan Aspinall, keep doing what you're doing, mate, because you're getting points. We spoke about it every week, Harry, didn't we?
Yeah.
Put points on. You've got to get points. You've got to get points. Unfortunately, no points for him. And dare I say, Harry, I know you're hosting the show, but we've got to talk about Bunty, haven't we? He's walking into it.
I was gonna get on to Bunting, but I just wanted to mention something else about Nathan Aspinall quickly. Off the back of Luke Littler winning the night, spoke to the media, and we saw. I messaged you last night because you saw. I saw a few words between referee Hugh Ware and Nathan Aspinall. He got very, very frustrated. But it's been reported that a pint was thrown at Nathan Aspinall before the final. Listen, we all love a pint. We all love a pint. But seriously, it doesn't matter if you're a matey boy down the pub, you're a professional darts player or whatever. Yeah. No one wants a pint thrown at them. Like,
no.
How thick have you got to be to just try and throw a pint at a dart player who's providing entertainment for you? You, and we've spoken about this before with the whistling, you've spent your money to go and see this on a Thursday night, all right?
Yeah.
And I hope for that absolute loser that they got out of the Brighton Centre and they went, oh, they have enough money to get a kebab now. Well, stop being an absolute thick idiot and show people a bit of respect, for God's sake. Because I don't want a pint thrown at me if I'm down the pub or wherever. Lloyd doesn't want a pint thrown at him. Bob down the street doesn't want a pint thrown at him. So don't throw a pint at a dart player as well. Get a grip of yourself. Lloydie, your reaction, please.
Harry, do you know what the main reason probably was? His 25p accumulator probably went down somewhere along the night, and it was Nathan Aspinall's fault. You know, I don't get it. I really don't get it, Harry. I mean, the crowd, you have to make time for the crowd. They're the fans.
Yeah.
They're the fans. They're the ones that help pay your wages. But you're there to entertain. You're there for yourself first and foremost because you're an individual sports person. You're there to go up there and do the job and get the job done. I don't understand how it tracks back, Harry, to what we were just discussing. You go to work all week to earn your wages. You might do 12 hours a day. You might do 14 hours a day. But you've paid for your ticket. You've got your seat. You're going there to have a great time, be entertained, just to ruin it and make yourself look an absolute wally. You know, if I was at anything like that, Harry, and I was with mates, and I was with good mates, like really good close mates, I'd be looking, what are you doing? What are you doing? Stop being an idiot. If you want to be an idiot, just go.
Yeah.
We don't want you here. We don't want you here ruining our night. Because you're not only ruining your own night, you're ruining everybody around you's night as well.
It's a second-hand embarrassment as well. Like you're cringing.
Well, it is.
You're cringing over someone else.
I'm hoping, Harry. I'm hoping that they called it because, in some ways, Harry, is that assault?
Some ways, yeah. I mean,
in some ways, it could be classed as assault. I mean, listen, I'm not going to say I've been the smartest boy over the years. I've been a naughty boy. But not naughty. Yeah. But the thing about it is, Harry, you don't want to be going to darts like that. I mean, there was a couple of things on socials last night, Harry, where there's a load of fans there that I know, follow them on social media and whatever. I've been absolutely drowned with beer But that was because Luke Humphries hit a 9-darter.
Yeah.
The same person an hour later said, now I'm just absolutely drenched.
Yeah.
That's because Rob Cross had hit a 9-darter. That's good fun. That's good banter. And that's the way they made it. For someone to deliberately throw a pint at a player as he's walking on, is disgraceful.
What you got to remember is as well, there was a trend, and it still is, like certain politicians being having milkshakes thrown at them, and that's deemed as assault. And I mean, I'm not meaning to get political, but some people deserve it. Nice people like I'm not going to mention the politician's name that always gets milkshaked because I just can't be bothered to get into politics. But someone who's as nice as Nathan Aspinall is an absolute showman deserves a bit of respect. And I forgot to mention at the top of the show because I was doing our little buffering gag and I didn't really go through what we had coming up on the show because I thought I'd just have a laugh at Sky a little bit. But we'll get on to Stephen Bunting because an absolute legend is waiting in the wings at the moment. I would like to welcome to talkBULL, two-time world finalist, a good mate of Colin, Jaws, Lloyd as well, Mr. Bobby George. Bobby, how are we?
Still here. I'm still here, mate.
Oh, you got the bling on, my friend. What chains we got on there? How many rings we got on today?
I've only got I've got no more fingers on this hand, so I've got enough on it. It's all chocolate, by the way, and sugar. That is.
Yeah.
Do you reckon that's worth more than the gold that the boys picked up last night, or what?
Well, I was listening, and they said like 30 grand a set of darts. They're not. Gold is expensive, but if they're going to make darts, say they make them 25 grams of darts, right? They don't come to 30 grand. No way. In fact, I should put them away. I bought myself a set of gold darts, maybe 20 years ago. There were a few quid, but 30 grand's a bit, it's publicity stunt, I suppose. It's going to cost them a few grand, but not 30 grand.
I think something like that, and I think with the 18-karat gold and winning the golden darts, they should have you on stage presenting it to him. The King of Bling should be presenting the golden darts to the 9-darter. You know what I mean?
Well, it'd be nice, wouldn't it? Eh?
Yeah.
At least, see, they say 9-carat. You get 9-carat gold, 18-carat gold, 24-carat gold. They're all gold, but one's a lot more expensive than the other. So when they say 30 grand, God knows where they've got the gold from, to be honest with you.
Bobby, last night, Luke Littler completely he destroyed the show yet again. 2 wins in the Premier League season for him so far. Me and Colin, we're going to get on Stephen Bunting, and I want to know your thoughts on this because we've been speaking about him the last couple of weeks. Another loss for him. I mean, I'm really feeling for him at the moment. Averaged 98 so far in the Premier League. He still hasn't gotten himself a win. He looks so dejected, Bobby. And when you're in a situation like what he's in, what is the best thing for him right now?
Well, I feel for him myself. I mean, I've been a dart player. He's playing pretty good darts, 98 average. He's playing well, but sometimes that happens. You can play well, and the guy that plays that little bit better. Now, Stephen's been around for a long, long while. I mean, I know him since he was a youngster. His dad used to take him to the darts. But one thing about Stephen, he keeps on going. He don't give up. He won the PDO World Championship. I was commentating that year. He won it. He played extremely well. He goes to the PDC. He don't play so well. He pushes himself, wins a couple of titles. He gets in the Premier League. Now, Premier League, you got the best dart players in the world, and he's one of them. There's always one going to be last. You can't all be up the top. But he's just got to keep playing as he's playing and hope the other players don't play as well against him, to be honest with you. I felt sorry for him. Plays so well and he gets beat up all the time.
Me and Cole were speaking about, Cole was really good on this. We had Barney on talkSPORT Breakfast yesterday and talking about the hectic schedule of going from Minehead back into the Premier League, then had the Pro Tour. They've got the Euro Tour this week as well. Do you think Michael van Gerwen is going through a bit of fatigue at the moment, or she
Yeah,
she
well,
just
I
get on
looked
with
at
it?
the first game last night. He played all right. He scored well and finished well, but he looked tired. He looks tired. And when he played Little, he just didn't put nothing together at all. You know, he pushes himself a lot. He goes in everything. And it's not just the PDC tournaments. He's going exhibitions, flying there, train fair there, picking up from the airport. You never have a break. And that's the thing people don't realise. They think, well, they just throw darts. That's easy. It's not the darts. It's the travelling, the timing. You've got to get there. You can't be late. You're on the actual television. You want or whatever you want to show off. But when you're tired, you can't do it. And Michael looks very tired. I would think, Mark, he won't have a break because I said to him before, you're doing too much, Michael. He said, Granddad, you've got to have the bees. I told him to get the bees and honey. so that's what he's doing. When people pay you good money, it'd be a fool not to say he won't play.
Mm.
But on the other hand, it affects his darts when he's in a tournament and he's gone over the top. He looks worn out.
How long do you actually, because we've had conversations about this before, but how long do you really see Michael going on for? Because he is one of the true greats in the modern era, and you think about Taylor going on into his late 50s and still winning. Do you see Michael packing it in the next couple of years, or is he going to stick at it and play for another 20-odd years or so?
He don't know any different. He hasn't got a trade. He doesn't know any different than pro darts. And he's been playing darts, I've known him since he was 13 years old, and he was a great player then. He's won, 150-odd tournaments in the PDC, the most, I think, anyone's ever won. Mm. But every good player has a part of his life that you've got family problems, anything like that. He just don't perform, or he's tired. He's not going to give up. How can he give up when they're paying him good money? Getting the old bees and honey. You don't give up, you play yourself out of it, don't you? Hey?
I mean, you mentioned the bees and honey last night, and we've mentioned the 9 darters. In your day, what would you get? And I've asked Cole this before. What would you get for hitting a 9 darter? I mean, remember the legendary first televised 9 darter of John Lowe versus Keith Deller. But if you were to hit a 9, Bobby, what would be your prize back in the day?
Well, I'll tell you the story. I played for a local league in Barkingside, and I played a guy called Ronnie Hayward, and I done a 9 darter against him. And the guy who taught me talking, he said, "I'll buy you a drink with that." He bought me half a pint of lager. That's all I got.
Our times have changed.
So the thing is, I'll tell you a little story. I've got the actual sheet, the scoring sheet, that when John Lowe done the 9 darter, I got it in my bar in that frame. That was 41 years ago. The official got it. He said to John, "Do you want it?" He said, "No, he's just looking for the cheque." When he turned, Lowe's looking for the cheque, and he don't worry about a bit of paper. Anyway, he signed it, and I've got it. So that's probably one of the most. Well, you're never going to get memorabilia like that. This one off. No. But 9 darter in my day was very rare, obviously.
Yeah.
You know, trebles were smaller. And then we used to, I've done that on an elm board. Well, the elm board was made of wood, tiny little trebles. When I think about it, I don't know how I used to play that. But they should say to me, even the top players said, "How did you play on a board that tiny?" I said, "Because I didn't know any different." We didn't. You didn't know no different. But 9 darter is still a great feeling. That I was talking to my wife last night, and I thought, he's going to do a 9 darter, Luke. And he done the 9 darter, great. And all the building up in the air and all that. It was good. And then when Cross was playing, I said he'd probably do a 9 darter and lose as well. And he did. I can't believe it. Every time they hit a 9 darter, they seem to lose. The best 9 darter you can do in a tournament is the last leg you play.
Yeah.
You know, but it's great to see it. I mean, 2 in one night. I mean, you know, not bad, is it? And chucking a pint over you as well. You know, that was a bit naughty. I've seen that in the England game. They've used to throw cans. They used to have cans, no glasses, or no tumblers. And I can't remember the guy's name. I was there. Anyway, they're all booing him. And one bloke chucks a can of beer at him, and he caught it. He actually caught the can and drank it and chucked it back to him. I thought that was great. How about that? Yeah.
Well, that's just the characters we had back in the day as well. And I mean, you as a character coming out of all the bling, and you think about Bristow and whatnot, and the personalities that you had back in the day. Do you feel like looking back at it now and you see where darts is at? Yeah, the standard is phenomenal and whatnot. But do you really think we have a lack of characters right now? Because it all seems like walk-on music. You don't really have those cheeky chappies like yourself and Eric Bristow. Everyone's almost a bit like media trained, aren't they?
Yeah, the thing is, personality, you don't learn it. You don't read it in a book. You either got it or you haven't got it. But the guys today, I mean, I'll get on well with them. They all got similar personalities when you know them. But to the audience, they're very. There's no characters like you say, but they're wrapped up in cotton wool now. They can't go in the audience, even in the shows. They play their game, do the walk on, and then they're in the back room. So the public don't see what personality they've got. They don't run each other down. They're very nice to each other. In my day, they used to have a right old slagging match, for the audience. But they're wrapped up in cotton wool. They've been trained not to. You just play the game of darts. That's what they want. Play a good game of darts, get off the stage. The walk-ons is great. I mean, when I started the walk-ons, and I never thought at the time that the walk-ons would be that popular. But I started the walk-ons. Few players didn't like it, and then they started getting their own walk-on music. And I think without the music and the crowd singing, the darts wouldn't be the same. It wouldn't be the same. If you just played darts, walked off the stage, had that 3-minute break, whatever it is, called the players on, but that walk-on and the singing, it's a party atmosphere. They're all dressing up. I mean, I dressed up. I might have looked a right wally when I first done it, because no one ever done it. Sequin shirts and then I had a cape, and I've done it more for fun. I've done it for fun. But then if you dress up like that, you still got to be pretty good. That's what I mean. You can't dress up and throw like an idiot. You know what I mean?
And we're not going to see someone with a nipple pocket as well. I mean,
oh yeah, so that's that excites
it's down
me.
near his belly button now.
I've got all different sayings on my nipple pocket. Like I've got a Welsh one. It says, "Could you, would you, or should you?" Right, and then I've got "hello" on another one. But what I like, I thought this was great. England management bought me a sequin shirt. Really lovely, red cross on the back, beautiful. Had a pocket on it. I wore it. I never knew it had the pocket on it. I never even bothered to look. And one day I thought, well, where's the pocket? Oh, there. And I pulled it down and it said, "God save the Queen." I couldn't stop laughing. That made me laugh. That did.
And you managed to get a laugh out of John Lowe as well, who obviously old stone face. And I mean, it was just unbelievable television, Bobby.
Oh, I've done it. I've done it in the World Championship.
Yeah.
I mean, I did. Yeah, John Rose, that's disgusting. Yes, he did. I don't think he likes it, but it's a bit of fun, isn't it? It makes it's people watch darts for the fun and the characters. They like to see the characters play and probably have a go at each other. And it makes it more entertaining. But today it's all nice, shaking hands, kissing each other. Look away when he the beginning of the game, he played Luke Humphries, because Luke is very cuddly. He cuddles people, and he licks his neck. He didn't lick his ear. He probably changed his mind. I probably wanted to kiss him, but he done that. And the camera goes on it, and they make a big thing of it. But he's like that. He does things unorthodox, right? He just thinks of something and does it. Nothing wrong in it. It's just a bit of fun. I would have laughed. If you'd done it, I would have laughed and asked him to give me a kiss or something.
Well,
make it more interesting.
Was it 1980 final when Eric Bristow kissed you on the cheek?
Yeah, I never got over it. Never got over it. He kissed me on the cheek. Yeah, he's all right, Eric. I knew him when he was a young guy. I travelled around the country with him and abroad, and we played played the tournament, split the money, and I played him in the world. He beat me. He beat me fair and square. I had a chance, and I blew it. That starts, isn't it? But what or not, I didn't mind losing. I just didn't like him kissing me. To be honest with you, that spoilt the day completely.
What was Eric really like? Because obviously you both met him, and I never had the honour of meeting the great Eric Bristow. Just what was he like to share the hockey with? Because I know Cole's mentioned he could be quite nasty, and Peter Manley we had on last week when they were playing in Perth, it was like, you're playing in front of my people now, son, and just trying to get in people's heads.
He did, but Eric wasn't. He wasn't tight. Eric, he'd buy you a drink and things like that. He's polite in the morning. If I'm going in a guest house or something and he's in it, he'd say me a place to park. He was in the rain one day and he's got his arms right out and he's stopping anyone parking. He got soaked just so I could get into a car park at the space and don't get wet. But 11 o'clock is completely different. He has to go at you. He's rude, nasty. But he's Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. I don't know why he was like that, but he was a nuisance when he had a drink. Put it that way. He was a nuisance, but he was a character. That's the thing. He was a character.
He was good. But before he'd had a drink, Bob, he was good company, wasn't he? You could have breakfast with him. You could have your first few pints with him. It was lovely. And then it got to that time. I always used to say when the bottom lip used to start dropping, time to go to bed. Make a cool, sharp heart, weren't it?
Well, he was. In the end, a lot of people used to put me and him for pairs and put us on first so they get rid of him. He can go home then. And then he wasn't. That's true. That was true. Yeah, that was true, Cole, wasn't it? I'll go on the pairs with him just so he wouldn't get so many points down and be rude to people. So he didn't mind. He was out the door by 8:30. He got the same money, same price, he used to say to me. But he was great. He was good for the game because he was a character. A lot of people hated him. You know, when Della beat him, they loved it. But they hated Eric. But Eric wasn't all bad. He just come across arrogant, bit rude. But I knew him differently. You know, I used to pull him up and say, don't talk like that, and he used to shut up. But, he was a character, great player. But you didn't miss much by not meeting him, Harry.
Yeah, that's one thing, because...
Colin's laughing there.
Eric Bristow trained Phil Taylor. Can you remember the first time that you heard the name Phil Taylor and when you met him, Bobby?
First time I met him was at Eric's wedding. He had long hair, right down his back, nothing on his head, but it was long hair he had. And he saw Phil Taylor, so he was a bit of a nuisance, to be honest with you. I thought, who's this guy? You know, kept on the one, the Canadian Open or something, and one thing other. And Eric even said, Eric never trained him. You can't. He knew he was a good dart player, so he lent him 10 grand to go into tournaments, but he didn't train him. He got that ability himself. Eric always told me he never paid him back. But, you know, Taylor never paid him back. That's what he used to say. But Taylor, when he gave him that chance to go abroad to win tournaments, and then he gets better than the person that he's meant, I don't know what you call it, not his trainer. Yeah, he must have hurt Eric in a way. And when he played him, he used to beat Eric up all the time. And that must have hurt Eric big time to do that.
Well, yeah, he sent him to Canada, I think, to play against Bob Canada, Anderson.
Yeah,
and I think he beat Bob. But there's something that really interested me that I saw in the papers the other day, and I saw it on social media. Phil Taylor recently spoke to the Mirror and said if Littler lives like a monk for the next 20 years, he can break all sorts of records. He's advised him stay away from nightclubs, booze, and fast cars. And I mean, I can get both of your expertise analysis on this as well. With the experience that you both had as players and looking back on it now and you seeing the trajectory of Luke Littler, would you advise him to live the monk lifestyle? Or, I mean, you two have had one hell of a life. Or should Luke just, live his life, have the fun, go to the nightclubs, drive the fast cars?
Well, look, put it this way: he's a young man. When they asked me about and what you advise him, I advise him not to grow up. That's the easiest part. Don't grow up. Then you don't drive fast cars. Taylor's took that off out my words, because I said that fast cars and young ladies and nightclubs. He's earning a few quid. You can't blame him. He's going to go not off the rails, but he wants to do something what he wants, and he could never do before he was a famous star player. But he's got to keep his feet on the ground. It's the people he lives with or looks after him has got to say on, you better not go there, or you better not do this. Thing is, don't grow up and save your money. Save the old peas and honey, son. That's what you got to do.
Target Darts last week as well on their social media promoted Littler versus Taylor. And there's always a bit of, is this just a case they're releasing a range together? Are they going to do an exhibition together? Will they actually play each other? Vincent van der Voort has said you don't want to see Taylor humiliated if they are to play each other in an exhibition. And we know it'll be an exhibition, but would you like to see them two play for the spectacle, or do you agree with Vincent? Because obviously Phil's not going to be the player that he once was. And, Phil's not going to want to be showing up as well, is he?
Look, he was a great player. You have your day. You get to a certain age in your life in your sport. Everyone has it, and you can't. Your body doesn't allow you to play as you used to. If he played Littler now, he'd get slaughtered. It'd be most embarrassing. I mean, the thing is, he's retired. He's played in the seniors, and he can't even win in the seniors. So playing a guy that's one of the greatest players in the world at this time, he's got no chance. But if he does it for the money, then all right, take the B's and A back. It takes all the credit for what he's done, and a young guy of 18 beats him up. He ain't got a chance. He's too good, that young boy. He's too good. Taylor was a great player, don't get me wrong, but I don't think he would have beat Littler even in his heyday, because his scoring power is so good. His finishing is unbelievable. The only way he could probably have a chance to beat him is take the double 10 off the board.
Yeah,
because that's what you can hit every time. He's got double tap or double top, bang, straight in. Taylor was a great player, but not as good as Littler. That's my opinion, mind you.
Do you think I ask this question all the time, and it's a cliche, and you're probably bored of hearing it as well. If Luke stays on that track and keeps on winning for the next 20, 25 years, is he going to surpass Phil Taylor?
Of course he will. He's put it this way. I know the money jumps up now than it did in my day and even in Taylor's day. He can earn a lot of money, but the thing he's got to maintain that skill he's got, dedication to the game. 20 years, yeah, he'll only be young, but it's a long while, 20 years to be at the top. But he can win loads of tournaments. Like, look at Michael Van Gerwen. Was it 35, Michael, something like that, or is he older?
Yeah, about 34, 35.
Yeah, look what he's won. Look at the money he's earned. He's been, he had the right parents with him as well. He's looked after his piece of money, and he's got all the rewards. Littler's got a lot. He's earned a lot of money in a short time, but you don't end up with it. You have to pay different people out. You got managers, you got expenses, you got a tax man, you got loads of other things when you're earning that sort of money. So he's just got he will. If he keeps on, he'll win more than any other player. But if he's half a life in it, you spell life. If he's half of it, it's a small word, but it means a lot. 20 years, no, it's tough to do it in 20. Keep doing it for 20 years.
Especially with all the players that are coming up against him as well, and players that are rising. Bobby, I've just got a couple more quick questions for you. Firstly, I want to know what a young Colin Lloyd was like, because I absolutely adore the man. But what were
he's a lovely boy. He is. He's not because he's in front of me. He's a mate of mine anyway. He comes round. I'll come round to see him, bro. comes round, he always brings cakes. I don't know if I look hungry.
Yeah, loves his bacon.
He always brings some cakes with him. He was a great player. He was a great player. I mean, he still is. And what annoys me with Colin, I say, no, why don't you go in the seniors? He could win the seniors. He's that good a player still. But he just, like he said, he wouldn't enjoy it. He don't want to keep on the dartboard every day and day. You've got to keep on the dartboard. But Colin is, he's got a gift. He's a great exhibition player. I played with him, like, and I put my fingers across the double top. In one, I played him in an exhibition. I'll put my fingers across the double, so he has to go through my fingers to hit the double. So he got on a chair. I thought, now here, he's taking it out of me now. He's going to stick it in my head. And he stood on the chair, boom, straight in the double. Didn't even hit my fingers. That's remember that, Cole? Hey?
Yeah, I do remember that, yeah.
So I trust him as a dart player. I remember, I'll tell you another little story. He couldn't hit double 16. He got getting done 5-6, 5-6, 5-6. So I said, well, you can't miss the double 16. I said, you've got to practice at it. So I made him hit 64 double 16s before he went home. Right? Now that's hard. And then he took the darts out and he went, right, I'm going now. I said, no, you're not. You've got to hit bullseye. Got to hit the bullseye, you can go. So he just threw the dart straight in the bullseye. I said, see you later. That's it. That's a true story. That's how good he is.
Lloydie coming in clutch as always. Come on, Jaws. Bobby, I've wanted to hold this question just for you because I knew you'd give me a good answer for this, what I'm about to ask you. I love, obviously, when the players are walking on and they're signing bits of memorabilia, signs, T-shirts. And when Luke Humphreys won the Masters this year, he signed a bottle of water for someone. And I just trust you're going to give me a really good answer. What's the weirdest thing that Bobby George has had to sign in his career? Because I know there is going to be an absolute mental
Remember, this
thing.
is a family show, Bob.
Bobby, you say whatever you want.
Harry, I can't. You want me to say it then?
Oh, go on.
I just signed the vagina once. That's true. I'm not telling porkies either. I've got my name and address on it as well.
What's the weirdest thing that isn't a body part that you've signed?
that is the weirdest thing I've ever signed. Oh dear. I signed a lot of boobs, by the way. I do. I signed a lot of boobs.
My headphones have come out. I was laughing too much.
No, that's true. I can sign boobs, right? And they get their boobs out and tell me to sign them. But I can tell the difference if they're real. Because when they're false, you can sign the pen easy. When they're not false, the pen sinks into them and you can't sign very good. And I'll tell them you got artificial ones there, and then the others I'll say these are real. I can tell the difference. I'm probably the only dart player that'll do that. You know. It's fun. It's fun. It's something, isn't it? It's just a bit of fun.
Oh, Bobby.
Well, you asked me the question. I did answer it fair and square.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
You know?
I mean, what I've got to ask you now to clear it up. Which inanimate object is the weirdest thing that you've signed? Like, have you ever signed like a samurai sword, or someone's had something so random with them that you've like a piece of paper, like a newspaper or anything like that? It's like, oh, just give me a signature or anything. Apart from body parts, what's the weirdest thing you've signed?
Weirdest thing I've ever signed. That's a good one. I never really thought of that. I've signed a bloke's shoes. I know that on the side of his trainers. I signed that. That was unusual. Took his trainer off and said, sign that. You know, weird. You do sign, I can't really remember. I mean, cases I signed, photographs I signed, shirts. Everyone signs the shirt. Like a pair of shoes, trainers I signed. I better not say what I'm going to say. No, I better not say that. But I signed quite a few unusual things, put it that way.
Bobby George, we're going to leave it there, okay? Before all three of us can never
Yeah,
ever.
I'll get into trouble. Harry, you'll get me into trouble. You will.
Until all three of us can never work again and can never be behind a microphone.
Right, thank you very much, Harry.
Bobby, have a good one. Speak to you soon, my friend. Cole, I mean, I don't know where to pick up from that. Oh, my head's hurting a little bit. My headphones even came out as well. Listen, night 6, March 13th, Motorpoint Arena, Nottingham. Just trying to get over some of the things that Bobby's actually signed. What's the weirdest thing you ever signed, Cole? I mean, I need to ask you that one as well.
I've signed a pair of knickers. signed loads of bras.
Yeah.
And then, like Bobby said, just the usual things. I've signed a pair of trainers myself.
Yeah.
People want their dart cases signed, their phone cases signed. But yeah, they're probably the weirdest ones. A pair of knickers and a bra. You just think to yourself, listen, if you want my signature on it, you can have it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And it's mad to think that hopefully they've not been burnt or thrown away, that your signature might be on a pair of knickers somewhere.
Have a little look through eBay.
Yeah. Let's put the call out. If you have a bra that is signed by Colin Lloyd, we would love for you to get in touch, to be honest with you, because that is an unbelievable bit of memorabilia. Listen, night 6 coming up March 13th, Motorpoint Arena, Nottingham, Robin Hood Town. Quarterfinals are as followed: Luke Humphries versus Luke Littler, massive. Cross versus Dobie. Bunting versus Gezi Price. Come on, Bullet. Let's get the first win. Come on. Nathan Aspinall versus Michael Van Gerwen. The table as followed. Luke Humphries still number 1 on 15 points. Luke Littler just 2 points behind him on 13 in second. Nathan Aspinall climbing third on 8. Michael Van Gerwen still in the top 4, but I think that could change very, very soon, because Gerwen Price is just behind him 5th in 7 points. Rob Cross 6th with 6 points. Chris Dobie on 7 with 3 points, and Stephen Bunting 8th with 0. If you had to put your prediction in for Nottingham, what are you going for?
Listen, Harry, I think it's starting to get to a point now where whoever wins between Luke Littler and Luke Humphries is going to win the night. That's not being disrespectful to anybody else. It's a case of those two look the sharpest at this moment in time. The other players seem to be having little blips in the middle of the games. If I really had to put my money out there, I think the guy to beat at this very moment in time is Luke Littler. Not just because of last night's performance, but the last few weeks he's been showing how brilliant a player he is. And I think he's the guy to beat.
Cole, that's all we have time for. I'll see your beautiful face this time next week. Stay in touch. We'll text over the week just if anything mental happens. And you, the viewer, the listener, please make sure you like and subscribe to the talkSPORT Darts YouTube channel to keep across all of the latest darting news from the Premier League, from the Pro Tour to the European Tour. Everything darting is right here on the talkSPORT Darts YouTube channel. Nottingham next week. We'll have all of the watch-alongs, all of the action from our incredible team. So, until next week, ciao, goodbye, auf Wiedersehen.